Hey everyone, welcome back to The Evil Within. This is an Akumu, no upgrade, no locker, no freeze bolt, no flash bolt playthrough on the PS4, and we are on the dreaded Chapter 12, which everyone hates. And replaying this chapter, yeah, I don't like it very much either. Not because of its aesthetics or because of it where it takes place. It's just uninteresting from a gameplay perspective for the most part. It starts with this boss who is really not a very great fight. He has just a few attacks. You're stuck on this bus. It really just comes down to just shooting him. He does that side attack, which if you step back, you can dodge it. He'll generate these little worm monster things. Make sure you shoot them before they get to you, because on Akumu, they'll kill you. Well, one will grab you, and then the next one will kill you when it hits you. So just hit them with the handgun. If you have explosives, you can use that too, but on a run like this, it's not really a good idea. So the first part of that fight's done. It's going to be broken up by this other fight. This is kind of like the gondola ride in the last chapter, except I don't find this as interesting because that had ledges and things like that to take advantage of. This is more drawn out, and you don't really have that as much here. So you're going to be stuck on this bus again, and you're going to be with Joseph and Kidman. Enemies are going to spawn up top. There's going to be barrels, so definitely use those. I unfortunately have to cheese the last part of this fight because I don't know if I have what I need to really kill everything. So I never promised this would be a kill everything run. So I'm not really doing anything I'm not supposed to. But right there, dynamite enemies, you can always just shoot them in the body to kind of just draw out the timer on the, like, for it to detonate. So with the handgun, one of the things that I don't really like about how the weapons were handled is that the handgun has sort of RNG tied to its aiming. If an enemy is like mid to long range, there's just a chance you'll just miss, even if the reticle is right on the enemy. So an enemy like the dynamite wielders, if you just shoot them in the body, which you have the best chance of doing, you can just shoot them once the dynamite's lit. They're just going to blow themselves up. So that's a good way to get around that. The dynamite and the Molotovs, if you shoot their arm that is holding those weapons, they'll drop them, and then they'll basically kill themselves. The Molotov guys, if you shoot them and they drop their Molotov, it'll kill the surrounding enemies because it'll explode instantly, which is really nice. Right here, it's just basically sniping and shooting these enemies in the body with the handgun. Really not much else I can do here. If you have fully upgraded bolts, you can use those here. Explosive bolts are really good when you have them upgraded here, but base bolts aren't that great for this part, so I don't even bother using them. And here, the shotgun has surprisingly good range and really good spread in this game, so I'm using it for those guys up top. Those Molotov guys, when you do enough damage to them, they'll drop the Molotov as well. So this last part of this fight here, there's going to be a lot more enemies. Right there, crumple that guy with the harpoon bolt. I stuck the explosive bolt onto that guy's face, so that was pretty funny. Again, I was doing that more to knock him over, not really to kill him. If you come up here to the front of the bus, the enemies who are standing directly over you won't be able to hit you. So, and this part's kind of on a timer, so just stand here. The part will end itself. And if you notice, Kidman here is standing just like Jill Valentine from Resident Evil. So I see what you guys are doing, and I like the callback. So I'm going to let Joseph waste his ammo while I stand here and do nothing. See, this chapter's just not interesting, I don't think. I don't think stuff like this probably isn't very entertaining to watch. But the next part of the chapter is core gameplay, well, after the second encounter with the boss. And then the chapter's going to be pretty well over after that. It's a short chapter that, in my opinion, could really be edited down or mostly removed, and I think the game would be fine. Like, if they could combine this chapter, the one part of this, that standard gameplay into either the next chapter or the chapter before it or something, that would be great. So here the boss is going to reappear, and it's going to be the exact same strategy as last time. That's another thing here, is that every time a boss is reintroduced in this game, like the Keeper, it's a different encounter. Like, you fight the Keeper again in Chapter 13, and the fight is much different than it is in Chapter 7. But here, the fight is mostly the same from what I can tell. So, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to shoot him with the sniper rifle, and then I'm going to make a couple harpoon bolts. And I think I used the Magnum on him just to get the fight over with. I don't recommend using the Magnum if you're doing a normal playthrough, because you have other means of doing the damage, but I really just wanted this fight to get over with, so. And I'm going to use the handgun because when he spews out those little enemies and you kill them, they tend to drop handgun ammo, so I figure might as well just use it. I'm probably going to get it back anyway. And he does this annoying thing where he likes to shake the bus while you're trying to attack these little things, and it's super obnoxious, and I knew he was going to do it, so I just used my explosive bolt on them so that I didn't risk missing them. And he's doing this attack here. He just stabs the ground, and it's annoying because the camera is forced to lock onto his leg while he's doing it. Again, this fight just has so many things about it that bother me, but I think it's almost over. I think that chapters 10 and 11 are where this game peaks in terms of combat. There's just so many great fights, and they're very challenging. There's a ton of variety, and the scenery in chapter 10 is awesome too. But here it's all pretty uninspired for the most part. This next part is going to be standard core gameplay, which is it's actually pretty good section overall. There's going to be traps and barrels, and a lot of these enemies are going to have guns, so you kind of have to take care of them quickly. There's going to be something you're going to notice with an enemy coming up, is that when enemies first see you, they're going to kind of they point at you or make some kind of gesture that's like an opening for you. It's almost like if you've played the old God of War games, that when you get far enough away from an enemy, they kind of taunt you, and you can use that opening. Same thing here. When an enemy first sees you, they don't really taunt you, but they make that kind of gesture, and you can use that to your advantage too. These two enemies start out walking towards the barrel, so that I can never get that barrel to hit both enemies, but it hits one, and I'm gonna use this bottle again. Free kill. Got to take advantage of it if you can. Or at least use it for hit stun. Use it for something. Just because if the game's gonna give you something like that, you better use it. And I saw that enemy lighting up dynamite, so I just figured I had to shoot that barrel right away and take care of him. And that enemy luckily didn't shoot me, so I was pretty lucky there. There's traps lying around here. I think there's 2 dynamites and there's a couple bear traps. The bear traps sometimes I forget where they are, and then I step in them on this difficulty and I die, and I can't even believe that I died to something so dumb. It's great. But right here, there's a sniper up on this truck. I always shoot him first, and then I'm going to use an explosive bolt on these 2 because they're going to have to run so close together. I figured it would hit both of them. And that guy got knocked back a little bit, but not much. So I just used the shotgun on him. Like I've said earlier, if an enemy has dynamite, you can shoot it and it'll just blow up in their hands. It's really useful for when they're surrounded by other enemies. But again, with the way the handgun's accuracy is, it's hard to pull off unless you want to use something else, which is actually one nice thing about the shotgun. Since the spread is so wide, it actually works really well for hitting stuff like dynamite and Molotovs, which you might think is a weird way to use the shotgun. Like, you'd think such a small target, you would want to use the handgun or the sniper rifle, not a shotgun which shoots in such a big area, but it actually works really well. And this is an absolute embarrassment. I can't even believe I did this. I have 7 handgun bullets when I see this enemy, and I'm going to have 0, and then I have to use the shotgun on top of it because I can't hit him. I wanted to just restart the chapter, or restart this section when this happened, but I was like, whatever, I just want to get this chapter over with. So 7 handgun bullets and a shotgun shell for one enemy, who I could have just shot in the hand and blew up the dynamite, but I didn't do that. So here we're going to get the blood pack for Joseph, because he's not doing so well right now. And then we have to sprint back to our bus, and there's going to be an enemy who's going to shoot us, or shoot at us, I should say, with a 50 caliber gun on top of a Jeep. So this is the part, I think, this is the part of the game that everybody hates, because this is just so stylistically so different than everything else in the game. I don't really care. I mean, whatever. If you've played Resident Evil 4, which you have, if you're watching this video, you have. If you've played Resident Evil 4, then you're used to the end of the game gets super actiony. Same thing here. So I'm just like sprinting between cover so he doesn't hit me. You can climb up the front of the Jeep here. So I'm gonna do that. Shoot him with the shotgun, because I love how this game does this. This guy not only has a gun, like he's on this gun, if you get near him, he pulls out dynamite. So then you have to like get away from the Jeep. So, but I just shot him and caught him on fire before he got to light it. So you can jump on the gun, just shoot all these guys. This blue car back here is going to, like, it's going to blow up or something. So you don't actually have to finish this part out. Wait for that to blow up, and then you can just leave. There's going to be a group of enemies with dynamite. I'm going to shoot them, not to knock them over, but I'm going to shoot them with the shotgun so that they don't follow me, because dynamite enemies will just sprint at you forever until it blows up and they die. So I just shot them just to give myself a head start. And that's pretty much the whole chapter. It's going to end on this little driving sequence. You drive a bus through the street. Again, I don't understand why this was here, but here we go. We're going to play as Kidman for 30 seconds and drive down the street. I think there's a trophy for hitting all these enemies or something. I don't know. As much as I've played this game, I don't have all the trophies. Maybe I should do that at some point. I don't know. So I'm trying to hit them because there's nothing else to do here. You can't fail here, as far as I know. So just run into the cars or the people or don't do either. It doesn't matter what you do here. Luckily, the next chapter is a lot better. And that's the end of Chapter 12. So next is going to be Chapter 13, where there's actually going to be some more normal gameplay and a really, really good boss fight. So that's the video. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you guys next time.